Hello guys, welcome back to another episode. Alright, as you can see we have a few changes. Here are my lovely birds, Cake and Zeke. Cake's the yellow one and Zeke's the green one. So Cake's all the way in the back, so it's kind of hard to see her. This is not their permanent cage. I guess note that they have a different cage, a much bigger cage. Isn't that right? Yup. So this is, I think, maybe not Zeke's first time, but Cake's first time. So I hope you will. I hope you'll be able to meet them. Alright. And we also have a new one coming. Let me go get it. We have a little baby bunny joining us. Alright, it will be in my lap. You will only be able to see its ear. So, and we might switch it later on in the video. Alright, so we have a bird and a bunny. Two bees today. Bunny, baby bunny, and parakeets, birds. Alright, so we will start our reading in 1 Maccabees. No chewing on my wire. Our Jews are sending this year, aren't they? So hopefully I won't be too stuffed up with the allergies. Now, where were we? Okay. Where are we? Okay, here we are. When Jonathan saw that the times favored him, he sent selected men to Rome to confirm and renew his friendship with the Romans. He also sent letters to Sparta and other places for the same purpose. After reaching Rome, the men entered the Senate chamber and said, "The high priest Jonathan and the Jewish people have sent us to renew the earlier friendship and alliance between you and them." The Romans gave them letters addressed to the authorities in the various places, requesting them to provide the envoys with safe conduct to the land of Judah. This is a copy of the letter that Jonathan wrote to the Spartans. Jonathan, the high priest, the Senate of the nation. The priests and the rest of Jewish people send greetings to their brothers, the Spartans. Long ago, a letter was sent to the high priest Ananias from Arius, who then reigned over you, stating that you are our brothers, as the attached copy shows. Ananias welcomed the envoy with honor and received the letter, which clearly referred to alliance and friendship. Though we have no need of these things, since we have our encouragement, the sacred books that are in our possession, we have ventured to send word to you for the renewal of brotherhood and friendship, so as not to become strangers to you altogether. A long time has passed since your mission to us. We on our part have never ceased to remember you and sacrifices and prayers that we offer on our feasts and other appropriate days, as is right and proper to remember brothers. We likewise wise rejoice in your renown. But many hardships and wars have beset us, and the kings around us have attacked us. We do not wish to be troublesome to you and to the rest of our allies and friends in these wars. With the help of heaven for our support, we have been saved from our enemies, and they have been humbled. So we have chosen Numinius, son of Antilochus, the Antipas, son of Jason, and we have sent them to the Romans to renew our former friendship and alliance with them. We have also ordered them to come to you and greet you, to deliver to you our letter about the renewal of our brotherhood. Therefore, kindly send us an answer on this matter. This is a copy of the letter that was sent to Ananias. Audius, king of Spartans, send greetings to Ananias, the high priest. A document has been found stating that the Spartans and the Jews are brothers, both nations descended from Abraham. Now that we have learned this, kindly write to us about your welfare. We, on our part, are informing you that our cattle and our possessions are yours, and yours are ours. We have, therefore, given orders that you should be told of this. Alright, and let's keep going. And after this one, I think you're going to have to go back, mister. Okay. Jonathan heard that the generals of Deuterbars had returned to attack them with a stronger army than before. He set out from Jerusalem and went into the country of Hamath to meet them, giving them no time to enter his province. The spies he had sent into their camp came back and reported that the enemy had made ready to attack the Jews that very night. I'm so sorry, but I need to go get something real quick. I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry about that. Okay, therefore, when the sun set, Jonathan ordered his men to be on guard and remain armed, ready for combat throughout the night. He also sent outposts all around the camp. When the enemy heard that Jonathan and his men were ready for battle, their hearts sank with fear and dread. They lighted fires and then withdrew. But because Jonathan and his men were watching the lights burning, they did not know what had happened until morning. Then Jonathan pursued them, but he could not overtake them, for they had crossed the river Ulithius. So Jonathan turned aside against the Arabs, who are called Zebudeans, overwhelming and plundering them. Then he marched on to Damascus and traversed that whole region. Simon set out and went as far as Ashkelon and its neighboring strongholds. He then returned to Joppa and occupied it, for he heard that men had intended to hand over the stronghold to the supporters of Deuteronomius. He left a garrison there to guard it. When Jonathan returned, he assembled the elders of the people, and with them he made plans for building strongholds in Judah, for making the walls of Jerusalem still higher, and for erecting a high barrier between the citadel and the city that would isolate the citadel and so prevent its garrison from commerce with the city. The people therefore worked together in building up the city, for part of the east wall above the ravine had collapsed. The quarter called Chepaneth was also required. Simon likewise built up Adea in the Shephelah and strengthened its fortifications by providing them with gates and bars. Oh no, capture of Jonathan. You guys enjoying it? Trypho was determined to become king of Asia, assume the crown, and to do away with King Antiochus. But he was afraid that Jonathan would not permit him, but would fight against him. Looking for ways to seize and kill him, he set out and reached Bethshan. Jonathan marched out against him with 40,000 picked fighting men and came to Barshan. But when Trypho saw that Jonathan had arrived with a large army, he was afraid to offer him violence. Instead, he received him with honor, introduced him to all his friends, and gave him presents. He also ordered his friends and soldiers to obey him as they would himself. Then he said to Jonathan, "Why have you put all your soldiers to so much trouble when we are not at war? Pick out a few men to stay with you, send the rest back home, and then come with me to Pomplamus. I will hand it over to you with other strongholds and their garrisons, as well as officials. Then I will leave and go home. That is why I came here." Jonathan believed him and did as he said. He dismissed his troops, and they returned to the land of Judah. But he kept with him 3,000 men, of whom he sent 2,000 to Galilee, while 1,000 accompanied him. Then as soon as Jonathan had entered Pomplamus, the men of the city closed the gates and seized him. All who had entered with him they killed with the sword. Trypho sent soldiers and cavalry to Galilee and the Great Plain to destroy all Jonathan's men. These, upon learning that Jonathan had been captured and his companions killed, encouraged one another and went out in compact body ready to fight. As the pursuers saw that they were ready to fight for their lives, they turned back. Thus all these men of Jonathan came safely into the land of Judah. They mourned over Jonathan and his men and were in great fear, and all Israel fell into deep mourning. All the nations round about sought to destroy them. They said, "Now that they have no leader to help them, let us make war on them and wipe out their memory from among men." Hi. Here's a piece of bread. There you go. Okay, and we're going to stop right there for now. Thank you for watching right now. Oh, and if you want, you could if you want, you could comment in the live chat. Thank you. Okay, now we're gonna go to the gospel. Yes, we are. I want to read a parable today. Let's go into Mark. Okay, Mark 4. On another occasion, he began to teach by the sea. A very large crowd gathered around him so that he got into a boat on the sea and sat down. And the whole crowd was beside the sea on land. He taught them at length in parables. And in the course of his instruction, he said to them, "Hear this. A sower went out to sow. And as he sowed, some seed fell on the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Other seed fell on rocky ground where it had little soil. It sprang up at once because the soil was not deep. And when the sun rose, it was scorched, and it withered for lack of roots. Some seed fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it and produced no grain. And some seed fell in rich soil and produced fruit. It came up and grew and yielded 30, 60, and 100-fold. He added, "Whoever has ears ought to hear." Then when he was alone, those present, along with the 12, questioned him about the parables. He answered them, "The mystery of the kingdom of God has been granted to you, But to those outside, everything comes in parables, so that they may look and see but not perceive, and hear and listen but not understand, in order that they may not be converted and be forgiven. Jesus said to them, "Do you not understand this parable? Then how will you understand any of the parables? The sower sows the world. These are the ones on the path where the word is sown. As soon as they hear, Satan comes at once and takes away the word sown in them. And these are the ones sown on rocky ground, who, when they hear the word, receive it at once with joy. But they have no root. They only last for a time. Then when tribulation or persecution comes because of the word, they quickly fall away. Those sown among thorns are another sort. They are people who hear the word, but worldly anxiety, the lure of riches, and the craving for other things intrude and choke the word, and it bears no fruit. But those sown on rich soil are the ones who hear the word and accept it, and bear fruit 30 and 60 and 100-fold. He said to them, Is a lamp brought in to be placed under a bushel basket or under a bed, and not to be placed on a lampstand? For there is nothing hidden except to be made visible. Nothing is secret except to come to light. Anyone who has ears to hear ought to hear. He also told them, Take care what you hear. The measure with which you measure will be measured out to you, and still more will be given to you. The one who has, more will be given. From the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. He said, This is how it is with the kingdom of God. It is if a man were to scatter seed on land and would sleep and rise night and day, and the seed would sprout and grow. He knows not how. Of its own accord the land yields fruit, first a blade, then the ear, then the full grain in the ear. And when the grain is ripe, he wields the sickle at once, for the harvest has come. He said, To what shall we compare the kingdom of God, or what parable can we use for it? It is like a mustard seed that, when it is sown in the ground, is the smallest of all the seeds on the earth. But once it is sown, it springs up and becomes the largest of plants, and puts forth large branches, so that the birds of the sky can dwell in its shade. With many such parables he spoke the word to them as they were able to understand it. Without parables he did not speak to them, but to his own disciples he explained everything in private. All right, and I have to be right back, so sorry again. Sorry.